Mhm.
I'll admit everybody.
Chris is on mute.
Chris, you can unmute yourself. Jordan, you should be able to unmute yourself.
There we go. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, gotcha.
Oh, perfect. There we go.
And Mike, it's up to you whether you want to unmute yourself. We'll unmute you. We can unmute you later if you want.
Did you didn't do it, admit all yet?
No, I didn't. There,
All right.
I just did it.
Okay. Does it look like YouTube is recording?
I don't see it at my end. Oh, yes, I think it is. Let me confirm.
It did pop up and say that you're live streaming on our end.
Okay, good. Thanks. We can't tell from our end sometimes.
I think I don't have the option record. Can you look, Randy? You said live to record to live stream to
Yeah, it says
Facebook?
the content is being sent to YouTube. We're okay.
Okay, we're good.
All right. Okay. Well,
All right, you want me to kick it off, Randy?
yep. Go right ahead. Yep.
Okay, welcome Hammond North. Is July 30th. A meeting primarily to discuss the owners to hear from two firms that have offered to buy the building. We have a minimal amount of business we'd like to go through first. So Randy, do you have some minutes?
Yeah. You want to call attendance or are we good?
Okay, yeah, there are a few people who are missing. Randy Vaughn,
Here?
Tom Deeds,
Here.
Chris Conti. Chris is muted, but he's here. We'll try to unmute you. And Tracy Smiley, you're muted also. You could unmute yourself. I'm not sure. Just thumbs up, Tracy. Okay. And I'm the fifth person. So there are two individuals, Jan Welch and Tim Fritz, who couldn't make tonight's meeting, but we have a quorum. And I believe for informational meetings, we can have those even without a quorum. So with that, I'd like to ask if there are some minutes. Randy, you'd like us to approve?
Yeah, I move that the board approve the minutes of the July 16th, 2025 board meeting.
I have a second. Tom
Second.
seconds it. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor of the minutes? Okay, it's unanimous. Number two, I believe this, we're gonna have a motion about the possessions, the furniture and clothing. Randy, you had the tabled motion, or would you rather I do it?
I can read what it was and then we can go from there. So
Fair
the
enough.
motion that was tabled 2 meetings ago on June 16th is that we set the deadline for removal of all personal items from units in the building as September 30th, 2025. And that had been seconded by Tom. So that's the motion on the floor.
All right, any discussion of that motion? Chris?
I think that's way too early. In my discussion with Greg Hurst, he believes the better date, and I believe as well the better date would be the end of November. And he believes that our budget will allow for that with employees, because Gene ended up leaving earlier than was originally planned, and he thinks he has enough money to get us through November, and that will allow adequate time for people to get in and get their stuff out of the building.
Just a point of clarification, I believe the motion is for furniture and clothes. So it's
No,
not
the motion
appliances,
was for all personal items.
personal items, which, Randy, do you define that as furniture and clothes? Or does that include appliances?
Well, if you own it, it's personal item, I think.
Okay, Greg, can I ask you to comment on if this was a motion hypothetically where it just was furniture and clothes, that we could accomplish that in 2 months with the current staff, where people are allowed to go to their units below the 8th floor. They don't need, per our earlier discussion, they don't need an escort. It's not a construction zone. Is that a problem?
John, if it's relegated to that, I do believe that's achievable, yes.
So then, Randy, would you entertain a motion, a amendment to your motion that is solely for the question of furniture and clothes and not appliances?
Yeah, I would accept that motion. Or that amendment.
Tom, you're the second. Do you accept that?
I'd like to say something about it. That last week of November is basically a week where a lot of people are away, gone, and there may not be many people at the Hammond available to help.
Just as clarification, I think if we have the motion, we're not talking about appliances. We're talking about furniture and clothes. And I think the discussion various board members have had, so the owners understand that, is that we also want to be clear that we couldn't pass a motion for change of deadline without giving owners adequate time to remove any of their possessions. And that if we wait longer, then it pushes the date back into October, and we want to give them adequate notice, which quite honestly, we're prepared to do until we schedule this meeting today. And then it would match the end of September.
Yeah, I think the one thing to be concerned about for November is, like I say, that last week, people may hold off till the last week, and there may not be anybody available to help them.
I understand that, but that would only be appliances. The motion we're talking about is only furniture and clothes. So would you agree to furniture and clothes by the end of September?
Yeah, I could accept that.
Okay, Tracy?
I have a question. Wouldn't the furniture and clothes deadline apply to the deadline that everyone's supposed to be out of the building by August, the week of August 4th?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
So owners are supposed to be moved out by the week of August 4th. So wouldn't that apply to all furniture and clothing as well? And then the deadline, the other question is, the deadline we originally had for appliances, cabinets, what have you, was December. So are we talking about that deadline, or are we talking about the August 4th deadline?
We're not talking about people moving out and not sleeping in the building. That's the August 4th deadline. We're talking about furniture and clothes, which currently is December 31st, and moving clothes and furniture up to September 30th. And appliances and the LL, we're not passing a motion on unless there's a further motion, which, in the interest of moving on to the buyers, it's only a question of moving that one deadline up for furniture and clothes. Yeah, Randy.
Yeah, Tracy, if I can. So originally it was the week of August 4th, that week. It was originally just all the people had to be out of the building. If you didn't take your furniture with you, that's okay. You just had to get out of the building. We had originally then said that furniture could be left in the building until the end of the calendar year. We realize that's not going to work. So that's what this motion is to say, okay, let's get the furniture, the clothing, everything but appliances and cabinets, get it out of the building by the end of September. And that's where we are sitting right now.
So, and maybe I misunderstood that first part. When we said owner should be moved out, from my perspective, I think moved out is their furniture and clothing and themselves. So if that's the case, I could have just, or anyone could have just got up and left without movers and all those things. So maybe I just misunderstood. Okay.
All right, any other questions about this? All right, so Randy, can you reread the motion with the amendment that you accepted?
Okay. I move that we set the deadline for removal of furniture and clothing from units in the building as September 30th, 2025. Tom, do you still second that?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, all those in favor of that motion? Okay, any votes against it? Okay, it's 4-1. Okay, the motion passes. All right, with that, we have Jordan Dickman from a realtor firm with us, as well as Mike Stacy, and we've been talking to both of them about offers. We have a letter of intent from a firm, Venture Real Estate, I believe, and we also have a contract offer that Mike Stacy has presented and to us, and we're going to give each of them 5 to 10 minutes, and then there'll be discussion and questions and answers from the owners. It's being recorded, as some owners have asked. There are various means to ask us questions about this, and we'll continue to answer them through meetings, through individual emails, and please still ask us everything. I don't believe this will be the last meeting by a long shot, and I'd like to turn over therefore to Jordan Dickman.
Appreciate it, John. I did have some documents that I did want to share while we're discussing, but it's good to meet everybody. I will try and keep it as short as I can as we're working through this. I believe it's a big decision here for everybody on what they're going to do next with the asset. I plan on having a little bit more time, but we'll tighten it up. I want to talk about team intro, who we are, so you could really understand who we are and what we do, our track record, representative deals that we've done, why the board has selected us to come in and try and help you out of the situation that you're in, give you a quick backstory about how we came involved in the deal, and then we can go over offer overview. But like I said, I will move quick. We are with Marcus & Millichap. We're a national company. Our team is based here out of Cincinnati, Ohio. We do roughly $50 billion a year in real estate transactions as a full company. We are 5 brokers based out of your backyard here in Cincinnati, Ohio. Our team has 29 years of combined experience. We've closed roughly $1.8 billion in multifamily transactions. So all our team does is multifamily transactions. Similar to your asset is a little bit more of a streamlined deal, or not a streamlined deal, but a specific deal, but very similar with the type of property it is, the location, et cetera. Marcus & Millichap, again, top in the market at what we do. We were tapped on the shoulder by the lawyer of the board, Isaac Heinz. We've done multiple transactions with him. He reached out to us and asked us if we could put a quick marketing package together for the board and for the owners to move towards a partition sale. We stepped in and said, why would you go to a partition sale? We've been around the block once or twice, and we know anytime something goes to a partition sale, there's blood in the water and the deal sells for 60 cents on the dollar. So we stepped in and started talking to John and Randy and Tim, discussed our background on who we are, and tried to implement how we could add value to the process, the tragic process that you're currently going through. We gave them some representative deals that we are currently transacting on, not in our career, but today that we're working on right now, that are representative to Hammond, which is a very similar style deal that's 366 units right now, that we're selling a little bit more stabilized for 51 million. We've got a deal in Cincinnati that we're working on right now that is, currently being foreclosed upon by the city, has about 3,000 open work orders on it. We have a buyer in place, actually the buyer that placed an offer on your building that's working with the city. They're working with the banks. They're working with the lawyers through every hurdle that's been thrown into us to close that deal at 26 million. We've got another 304 unit deal that we're currently working on that's very representative of Hammond North. 304 units, mid-rise building, more on the back end sale price than what Hammond North is at 51 million. We've got another deal that we're working on not far from Hammond, actually just down the street, the Heights by Albion, 394 units that we are currently listed on the market for 46 million. A deal that we put under contract that was a condo deconversion style deal. It's in Dayton, so it's a little bit of a different city, but 166 units for 22 million. And then a deal in your backyard that is 292 units, that is the views of Mount Airy, that we are currently negotiating offers on. So, we have been working very closely with the board as their fiduciary, as your fiduciary, to step in and make sure that we are maximizing value for every owner on this call. It's what we're hired to do. It's all we do. We generally transact on 50 deals a year. In the Cincinnati, Dayton, Lexington, Louisville market. We went out to the market with a very strategic approach. We are generally an exclusive listing firm where we go and blast the deal out to the world. We worked with John and Randy and Tim in a little bit more of a strategic approach, which we have tremendous success on, and cornering a market that would be extremely interested in a building like Hammond North. We have roughly 17,000 clients in our database that are multifamily centric buyers in the Midwest, specifically in our markets. We scrubbed that list down based on some of the deals I just mentioned to you. We scrubbed that deals based on, ability to close the deal, ability to close a deal that is going to have some roadblocks and hurdles in it, location statistics, et cetera. We went out to a handful of buyers on the market from Cincinnati to New York to Florida to Atlanta to Chicago to Cleveland. We've gotten feedback from the market generally in the $12 million realm. We have venture companies right now with a just north of $14 million offer. They're willing to stretch that offer for us. We have not countered that yet. They are, as of right now, closing that 426 unit deal with us with the open code violations with the city. They have a great relationship with the city. They have a great construction background, again, based out of Cincinnati. They are looking to close this deal with no strings attached, a 60-day due diligence and a pretty quick 30-day close thereafter. They're not requiring anything of the owners other than an opportunity to do a full walk through the building. They're not requiring any construction to be done before closing. They want nothing to do with your insurance proceeds. They just want a clean deal. Scrolling through this here, I've shared this with John, Randy, and Tim. This is a complete bio on Venture Real Estate, on what they've done through the city, the deals that they've transacted on. I've let them know that they can share this with all the owners so you can do all of your due diligence on the ownership group. They've currently got just over 1,000 units in their portfolio in Cincinnati specifically. They've been around for about 12 years. Their current portfolio value is just over 200 million. They are the kind of buyers that come into markets like this and get the hairy deals done. In our experience, they don't retrade deals. They come through, they stick to their word. Their reputation means everything because they are based out of Cincinnati. They brought a very large construction team and a big group of people through the building on our initial tour to show the strength and the want to buy the asset when they came in. So their main three partners are Stephen Rice, Matthew Henderson, and Robbie Hendricks, again, all Cincinnati natives, all gentlemen that are very familiar with the asset, familiar with the product type, and ready to get a deal done. Obviously, we're happy to open up to Q&A when that happens, but before we do that, before we pass the baton on, I just want to make it clear that we're not on the phone here to buy your deal. We're not on the phone to bring a relationship of ours in to buy the deal where we're a part of it. We are strictly a third-party firm that comes in and maximizes value for ownership. We are the fiduciary of the owners. We maximize value for owners in every transaction that we do, and we're very good at it. We only make money on deals that we close where we're making the owners money, and we wouldn't have a job if we didn't do that. So John and Randy and Tim have been great in providing us information and providing us a starter block to create some value for you. And I think Venture is the kind of group that can come and do that. We are still working through some market feedback. But all in all, happy to answer questions, any concerns or anything that you guys have at our relationship into this deal or on Venture specifically. So John, I'll throw it back to you. I don't know if we want to do Q&A now or if you want to jump to Michael and then
No,
do
I think
Q&A.
we'll do some Q&A. So one question I know we've talked about, some of the owners asked, what are your fees?
So our fees are roughly 2.25% of the deal.
Okay.
We sent over a flat fee of 2.25%, and then we sent over something that was a little bit more advantageous as the purchase price went up to ensure that we are scratching and clawing for every dollar for you guys.
Tim Barker? Randy, can you unmute Tim?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
I think I sent something to you, John. There was going to be an email or is there, how do the dividends get worked out to each owner? Is it a percentage? How does that work in the simplicity of terms?
Tracy, do you want me to take a stab at that? Would you like to answer that?
Can we hold that question and let Tracy come in with that chart a little bit later on, and maybe that'll answer it?
Okay, sure.
But the quick answer is that your percent of ownership is what would determine what percent of the proceeds of the sale you would get.
Okay.
And that's in the back of the in the declaration.
And so as a basic math, the higher the price you sell it for, the more each owner based on their percentage would get.
Correct.
Okay.
And then there's a question in the chat. Well, it's not a question, it's a statement. It says 14 million is too low, nothing less than 20 million. Jordan, could you address that issue?
Yeah, so, we put this out in front of a very well-qualified group of about 12 to 15 offers that have won deals in the market, like the Landing in Dayton, Three Rivers in Fort Wayne. So far out of the group of people we put this in front of, which we're extremely confident in, most of that market is in the 10 to 12 million realm. So Venture is standing out above the rest. I will say that if there is animosity around taking an offer without a ton of other offers in front of us, we are an exclusive listing firm. We can take this to the open market and put this in front of 17, 20, 25,000 people and get a lot of following and a lot of interest. I will say we are very good at what we do, and when we put this in front of clients that are interested in the deal, we generally can depict the market before we hit it, and I think we've done that with the group we put in front of. All that to say, there's always the exclusive listing, full marketing process that we can hit, The one thing I will say for a group like Venture is they are pressing value here over the rest of the market because they want an exclusive shot at this and they're willing to overpay for it at this point to get it. 20 million is probably outside of the sights of where we could hit. We're really probably closer to that $15.5 million marker to get the deal closed.
Thank you.
Any owners want to raise their hand or put a question in the chat?
So really quick, I have a question. So when we talk about what's outside of the deal and we think about the building itself, the surrounding land, the reserves, are you factoring in new development on the second lot and what that return will look like as a part of the value that you guys are calculating for the total sale?
Yep, that's a great question. So we've been hit or miss on whether or not somebody wants to develop that second piece of land. Unfortunately, out of the ground construction for a mid to high rise building in that location is going to cost somewhere between $250,000 and almost $300,000 a unit. And the return scenario you'd need to hit on rental rates in that market to be able to adhere to that, they don't support the new construction there from an apartment scenario. Now there's the condo, right? So you can come into this and you can condo it out completely. You can build condos back there, but again, back end sales on homes in that market are, anywhere from 200,000 to 300,000, possibly 350,000, depending on what you build. And so the spread from build cost today and back end value isn't as much as it would have been even 5 years ago. Labor costs, material costs have slowed a lot of new construction in the market over the last 3 years since COVID. And so we've seen a very, very big pullback in permit pulls over the last 24 months because of what costs are. And the location is good because it's very close to downtown. You're in La Guada Woods, you're right across from Twin Towers. Like, the connectivity is really good. But you don't see a lot of new construction going into that market because you don't see the back end value of the home sale or the multifamily rental rate that can support that. So we've definitely gotten some decent feedback on the ability to build there with already the traffic light out front with the turning lane to increase density. But nobody has hung their hat on the ability to go build another 150 to 200 units behind it. And most people are looking at this from a sold build of what's already there, with the possible ability to build something in the next 5 to 10 years and almost sell that as an exit strategy to an incoming investor on the next round. So
I definitely completely agree. Yeah, I agree with the rental from a rental perspective, but I know with the Cincinnati housing market having a deficit of supply that may be able to drive some of that condo living in this area, and to your point, close to downtown. So I was just curious of how you factored in that, growth rate. There's jobs coming in, I want to say somewhere between additional 10% over the next few years, and how we could how this building and that land could potentially support that, based upon, your argument that you just gave about, the financial aspect of the purchase.
Yep. So when you're looking at land like that, it would really be considered raw land. And when you're looking at building new apartments or new condos in the area, from our experience, right, in our realm is definitely more multifamily focused than it is condo focused. I'll admit that we're not condo sellers. Most, 99% of what we do is multifamily driven, and that's our expertise. Land value is going to be somewhere between $5,000 a unit and $10,000 a unit to build. When you're talking, high rise cost structure of parking below or behind an infrastructure cost, you're probably closer to 5,000. But even if it is 10,000 a unit, you're looking at roughly, for another 150 to 180 units right there, you're looking for another 1.5 to 1.8 million. That's already factored into Venture's cost, as they're paying 80,000 a unit for the build. And then they're going to spend somewhere between $50,000 and $60,000 a unit in renovation, which if you remove the land, their basis all in is somewhere between 130 and 140,000 a unit, and the back end value isn't more than 160. So they're already factoring that into their $14 million offer, and I think they probably have legs to get to 14.5 or 14.75. So they are valuing the land in there. We valued that in our initial valuation that we sent over in the 15 million realm, roughly 13.5 to 14 for the structure itself, and then another $1 million to $1.5 million for the actual raw land that could be built upon. I will say, like, not to get too far into this and be really long-winded and steal the whole show here, but these deals become extremely hard to sell when you have an as-built and a potential to develop. A lot of times when you're marketing deals like this, someone's either going to value the land or the current development more. And in this scenario, we want them to value the current development more than the land, because the land holds no bar compared to the actual development that's already there. There are very few people, if any, that are going to come in and be able to pay the same amount for the as-built building as they would be the land. The person that wants to buy the land wants to construct the entire thing out of their own vision. They want to build the units as they see fit. They want to extrapolate as much value as they can from the land, and they don't see as much value in the building that was already built there that they really can't do anything with other than just bring back online. And so we're often tasked with selling a garden style or a high-rise building that comes with land. And I know no one wants to hear this, but we're here for you guys and we're here for transparent information. The land never holds as much value as the building that's already there. It just doesn't. No one that can pay as much for this building has the ability or infrastructure to come in and really build that next piece of land or that next building that you would want to see happen. So the land's there, we understand it, there is value there, but it unfortunately falls behind the building's worth and it loses value because of that. I don't know if you have anything to add to that, but I think that hits the nail on the head.
Or Randy?
Yeah, there was I'm sorry, Virginia. There's a chat question. Will owners get to see the offer on this building, or from Venture? I mean, I know that
Sorry, go ahead, Randy.
last week we sent out or you sent out the information, Jordan, on the letter of intent, which gives all the salient points in the offer. Without all of the, pardon me, Isaac, without all the legal jargon wrapped up in it. But with both of these offers that we're about to look at tonight, is it possible for the all the owners to see them?
Yeah, I mean, my feedback would be this. In the realm that we work off a letter of intent first. And the goal, is Isaac on, Randy?
Yeah, I don't know if he's...
Oh, sorry, Isaac. I'm going to throw you under the bus. But the goal is to let us negotiate the deal points before the legal fees rack up, right? We're focused on purchase price. We're focused on due diligence timelines, earnest money, and closing timelines. We're focused on the things that probably matter most to everybody on this call. And so in our realm, we use a letter of intent first, and it's meant to be countered and negotiated without a ton of legal advice, right? It's meant to be countered and negotiated between an owner and a buyer to the large deal terms, right? The basic, big outline terms. Once we can agree to a purchase price, once we can agree to a due diligence timeline and a closing timeline and earnest money, that's when we tap Isaac on the shoulder and we say, all right, we need to draft this 30-page PSA. We need all the nuts and bolts. And we ensue in this 2 to 3 week negotiation process between lawyers representing buyer and seller to dial in on, like Randy said, the legal jargon and the minor things to help protect all the owners. And so, yes, please share the LOI, but I just want to be extremely clear that that LOI is a starting point. That's not a finishing point. The next steps here would be countering Venture with offer terms at a basic level, maximizing their offer, and then moving that into a PSA, a purchase agreement that would be a little bit longer than what you see. I don't want anybody on this phone call to think that they sent something over because they're not motivated to buy the deal. That's just how our industry works, is send us the 2-pager. That's the basic terms. Let's negotiate that first and make sure we can come to a deal. And then let's spend money on the lawyers negotiating out the bigger deal, knowing that we've already agreed to some of the hardest terms in the document. So yes, to answer the question, please share, but we're just at a starting point with Venture to counter propose them and get them to a higher number for you.
Ginger?
I wanted to remind everyone, and if the gentleman is or is not aware, that there are 9 very energetic, I'm getting feedback. There are 9 energetic council candidates stomping the streets, talking about the need for housing. And I am wondering if you guys have approached the city. I was at a meeting the other night in which 2 city council members expressed interest when I spoke to them afterwards about whether council has discussed the possibility of helping alleviate the housing crisis in Cincinnati by looking at purchasing the building itself. And it would also make those candidates 250 votes richer, perhaps, if they if that could happen. But they have, obviously, it's a big pocket. We have the railroad settlement pocket. What is your plan to engage either city council or Hamilton County Commission, and perhaps get those numbers up? Because isn't it true that while we may have an offer or two, or an interest or two, the best way to increase that is to put more offers on the table and get more people interested?
Is that a question?
Yeah, I mean,
for the board? Or for
Go ahead.
Jordan, sorry.
Well, sorry, I was going to answer, but John, if you have something, I don't want to cut you off.
Go ahead, Jordan.
Well, so we have not engaged in some of those conversations. Number one, because the city's always looking for a deal. The city never has ever, in my experience, across 22,000 units, paid more than what we have achieved on the open market. They're willing to come in and purchase the asset and alleviate pain, but not at the same price we can provide. I've never once in my career of 11 years had to actually compete with the city on any deal we've sold. And we've sold distressed, luxury, everything you can imagine in Cincinnati. And I've never once competed with the Port Authority, City of Cincinnati, Hamilton County on anything, because they can never match the value we bring to the table. And I stand very, very confident behind that. But be more than happy to explore that, to look under all the rocks. We were engaged to initially drum up an offer to start this conversation. This conversation is, do we accept this offer, which I really do think is a good offer, or do we take this thing to open market and go get you guys 30 offers? And that's really the crossroads that we're at right now. We make more money if you make more money. There's no hiding it. That's our business. We make more fee if you make more money. That's the fee agreements that we put in. That's why we go fight for you. I do not believe that there's somebody out there that's going to pay much more than what Venture has put in front of us. We can still do that. We can still take that to the open market. We can still look under every single rock. It takes 30 days to do it. We do a 30-day call for offers, open market. We bring you all the offers. We expose it on every platform you could ever imagine. and we get it done, and we do very good at what we do. But we also know the market. We know where the market's going to come in, and I really do feel as though it's going to come in around 15 million. We'll just have a lot more offers to show that.
Sally.
I remember that, if I remember correctly, in the letter of intent, one of the conditions listed was that there had to be 100% agreement from all the owners. Do I assume that that is not a negotiable point, or is it a negotiable point? You pointed out that the letter of intent is just that, and that it's negotiable, but that was stated in the letter of intent.
So the only reason they put that in there was to make sure that the board had the right to sell the building. So that's negotiable to the point where the board has the right to sell the building. And that's really what they're focused on, is if they engage in a deal, they want to know that whoever's selling it has the right to sell it. And, you know, Randy, Tim, John, and ourselves did a good job of explaining to the buyer the position that you're all in, and that, you know, everybody hasn't signed the agreement to sell, and we're working through this, and your offer may help us get to that point, but it is something we're going to have to work through together, and the buyer is willing to work through that with us. So, you know, if the agreement's actually 90% of people need to agree, then yeah, 90% is what actually needs to be in there to get the agreement to sell.
Thank you.
Yeah, from a legal perspective, at this point, they need 100% of the owners to join this to be able to decondo the building so that they can get fee simple of the entire building.
You're always bringing in the bad news.
Well, I mean, I think your buyer is willing to take that on and try to make that happen.
Yeah,
And that's
why. That's right. They're willing to work through the speed bumps. They're willing to work through what they need to. They're willing to do the meetings. They're willing to do the sit downs. They're willing to stay in to work with everyone here at the table to make a deal happen, even if that takes a little bit of time.
Okay, in the chat, some people asking whether we're going to keep doing the questions, and I think we're getting close to the amount of time that we originally allocated to Jordan, but we do have some more time if people have questions, and we're going to offer the same amount of time to Mike Stacy for his presentation shortly.
And we can stay on after, John. So we're here. So if people want to stay on after and have questions, we can stay after. So you can jump to the other side, and then we can stay on after if we need to.
I appreciate you staying on. Yes. Are there any other questions for Jordan Dickman? If not, thank you very much, Jordan, for your presentation and all the answers to the questions. And now we'll turn to Mike Stacy. We'll unmute Mike, and Mike will make his presentation, and then we'll follow that with questions for Mike. Please go ahead, Mike.
You can hear me and everything?
Yes, fine.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for your time and consideration on this project. I'm a little bit more than just a broker trying to sell your building. I'm somebody that cares about the building. I've been in the building for 20 some years. The Fraley Estate 1501, they have recently passed, and so the estate is holding the condo, and it's pretty tough to sell it. We may or may not sell it. I also own 2 other condos in the buildings, and I'd like to keep one. Not sure about the other one, but I'm in this with you guys. I'm paying condo fees. I'm paying all kinds of things that I'm experiencing what you're experiencing. And this building can be rescued, can be returned, and we have a plan to do that, and I'll explain it to you. But my company has been in business since roughly 1978, and we recently merged with another company, so we have a large workforce. We have repaired condo facilities in Florida, Arizona, North Carolina, and I could bring a workforce to this building and complete these tasks within a year if we get started. Another concern I have is the vacate order. I have met with the city of Cincinnati along with the board, and I can get that vacate order lifted. And I'm more worried about the grandfather in the building and having to adjust bathrooms and kitchens and things to ADA, which you can do, but there's some new rules to this. So we really need to keep the building from being vacated. The experiences that you have had through this mess, I'll say, can be easily corrected. I have a contractor that has worked on fire insurance repair for over 40 years. I'm 61 years old. I've been doing it since I'm 9, but I worked in this building for 20 years prior to TRS. And after the big fire, they selected another contractor. At any rate, I am familiar with the building. I know the ventilation systems. I have spoken to John, who has explained several of the deficiencies with the building through the building department. I've sat down with Art Dahlberg and talked to him, and there's a method we could use that the city will go along with. But in our offer, we offer roughly $15 million, but we offer the ability for the owners to re-enter the building and retain their ownership. That should get your attention. You could take the monies from the sale. You could take, if there's any insurance monies that can be gotten, we have a company called FICO that can look into insurance necessary things and see where you're at. I can't promise anything there because I'm unaware of it. But what I offer, I'm going to go to a share and show you a couple things real quick. And then I just want you to know that we have a staff that can handle this. We can fix this place, bring it back to its grandeur, be part of the community, bring some wealth to the area, get some people in this building, and we would like, I heard them mention apartments. I'm not really fired up to do apartments. If we have to is one thing, but we're more after condos and we're more interested in an older crowd, a little quieter crowd, things along those lines. Can't necessarily promise that, but I think that's what's already in the building, and I think that's what we need to do. But you can't limit who you sell to and those kind of things, as you know. But anyway, I'm going to bring up a couple things if I can operate this thing properly. The share. A couple things that I've tried to bring this up. Hammond North, it's your home. This is not some real estate project. This is your home. If you'd like your home back, this is what we can do. There's some choices here. You could either take the money and leave the HOA. I understand there's some people that are tired of being here. If that's the case, then you can move about your way and take the money. If you would like to take the money and reinvest into your condo and remain in this place and experience a growth and value of every one of these units, please come our way. Bottom line is you keep your home. For owners, you stay in your home. Current owners, to retain ownership. If you leave the HOA, you can take any money from the sale of the units or your unit, insurance monies. I'm not privy to those numbers. I'd like to answer that, but we will work through it and get you a number if I'm exposed to those numbers. We would like to return the HOA fees to pre-fire rates, and we'd like to do that so this place is affordable. If we're gonna take this building, we need to fill it up. You can't take 3 years to fill it up. And the current rates prior to this month were very expensive. So I think the rates have been returned, but before that happened, we offered to return HOA to a decent, sized thing. We would like to fund the repairs either from insurance monies that are left, the sale monies, or monies from the replacement costs, because I don't believe you have replacement costs yet because you haven't replaced. We need to look in that. There's a lot of factors that are involved. I don't know if you've timed out. I don't know how much money's left, but we have a company called FICO that does arbitration, evaluation of buildings, and we will bring them in. The 3 companies that we have are Ram Restoration, Airway Construction, and FICO. We offer to manage from the FICO as a manager than the two companies work. We are very, very glad to have merged, but FICO is a company that uses Xactimate, which is what your insurance policies or your insurance carriers wrote this thing on. We'd like to look into that. The next thing is our offer. Our offer is actually $15 million. We offer $12 million in acquisition. We offer to pay $2.1 million in HOA fees while construction goes on. And prior to the HOA fees being dropped, they were $2.1 million a year for all involved. That number can be thrown in as a purchase price. Part of the city of Cincinnati's concern is restoring the life safety devices. You guys have an estimate for somewhere around $473,000, I understand, for the life safety devices. I think it's more, but 473 would be 14.5 million. So I just rounded it up to 15 million because we think 15 million is a good number for you and for us as well. At the end of the day, if we're going to keep this grandfather in place, we need to get work done. We need to get these safety devices started. And the city has promised us they'll work with us hand in hand as long as we get doing it. The reason they ordered the vacate order is because the construction had stopped. We would like to begin construction immediately, and we're willing to fund it. So the next question is, what does our direct offer deliver? Well, repairs start immediately. In the common areas, the doors, the shafts, we had offered to put the fees back to pre-fire, but I believe they're there now. We'd like to continue with the sprinkler and all safety systems to be fully operational. And then lastly, we would arrange financing within 90 days. And we have written a letter of intent that has not been returned. The board told us they wanted an offer, and we have done that. The gentleman before said that they didn't want to tie up legal fees and things. I've already done that. I've already hired an attorney. We have gone through this thing. We are working hard, and I think that most people would like to return to this building. So that's what our offer is. It's 15 million. And there's probably a little bit of room there, but 15 million is our number. There's going to be some incidentals. There's going to be problems that come up. We're willing to take those on. I've never done a job ever that didn't have problems. And I think that my particular knowledge of this building, the fire knowledge I have, the engineers we have, the architects we have, and we also have talked to your architect of record, and he's willing to come work with us as he's ready to retire, so he doesn't want to work that hard. So we promised him he wouldn't have to work that hard, but we have a team of people, and that's what I bring. I don't bring just somebody to buy the building. I bring a team of people, of architects, engineers, marketing. I have a staff that'll work with you individually for your kitchen designs, your bathroom designs. You'll make selections out of your house. You won't have to go anywhere. Our staff will accommodate you. These people all right now are down in Boca in Florida, where last October, unfortunately, a hurricane rolled in. And when it did a whole lot of damage. That was last October. Next month, 184 condos will be repaired. They were clear cut to 5 feet. All the drywall, all the electric had to be replaced, HVAC, and our company completed that job as an example of what we do. We want this place back in order. I think the 18th floor is about done. I'd like to move back in. I don't intend on living there full time, but my brother works at GE. He wants to spend time there, and then we spend a lot of time in Cincinnati. At any rate, my father-in-law was a building inspector. He liked the building. He bought a condo there, and he's passed. But during the time he was there, I was involved in a lot of work. and I know the building, I know the ventilation systems, I know the front door is windy, I know the fans on the roof, I know when the rubber roof was fixed, I know when the garage was repaired. I know a lot about this building, and I think I bring a lot more knowledge and can restore this building and get you a price that you would find acceptable. And the board has been outstanding working with me. And I've refrained, I've heard people say, why can't Mike Stacy talk to us? Well, that's what I'm doing tonight. And I appreciate the board for what they've done. They've met me at building inspection. They've allowed us in the building. They've done a good job. But at the end of the day, what we want to do is we want to return this building to its grandeur. We want to make it a wonderful place to go. We want people to come from the airport to here. We're going to market this thing in the July 4th celebration on the river that they're closing the city of Cincinnati and the river for our 250th anniversary. And we're going to depend on people coming back and forth from that to see this thing. So we need to get to work. It will not be completed by then, probably. But I think we can go a long way and we can get some people, the people that want to stay, we will target their condos and do what we can to get you back in. That's what we want to do. So we're not just interested in, selling the thing and seeing what's going on. We want to bring you back. We want to repair the building and we want to get the value back up. So I've told several people, hang on, man, don't leave yet. I've got a plan that I think you can recover all your money and your investment. My father-in-law's house was valued about $260 when he passed. When my mother-in-law passed, it was valued at around $75. My original intention is to rescue the building, return the value to my wife's family's estate, and I would like to do some work. And I know the people in this building. I care about the people in this building. I know a whole lot of people that I've worked for. I've been in the building on holidays and Christmases, and I know we can put this thing.
Do you ever see him?
Thank you, Mike.
Yeah.
Marion DeFalco, you had a question?
Yes. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, Mike, thank you for your interest and your concern about the future life of the building. I have some questions about how you would fund it. You mentioned insurance monies. One of our problems is that we haven't gotten or don't know that we can get it, and that money may already have been spent. The other thing is how much it would take to keep insurance for the building. Have you factored those items in?
Okay, well, first of all, I left out a little very important part called financing. We have 10th Street Company out of Atlanta that is a group of gentlemen that go into urban areas and rescue property and try to bring economic growth to the area. Brian is in charge of that. He hasn't met you yet. You'll meet him one day. But they've got a group of investors. We are not a bank. We can get through all the red tape and everything else. We have hard cash. And we got to what they got to do is they got to pull monies out of somewhere else to pay for this. So we need probably 90 days or thereabout. The financing, if we can get the insurance monies, I think that helps repair the condos, but we are not counting on them. This will be just extra gravy if we can get it. But there seems to be some questions of where all the money went, and FICO can look into that. But the replacement costs is what I don't know. I'm wondering if we can get replacement costs. I can't guarantee it. We need to talk to Sil to see what that is into your insurance company. My reputation is outstanding with insurance companies. Some of our competitors are not. I think I am friendly. I think we can get some answers answered by the insurance company, but to answer your question, we are not counting on insurance monies. That's not part of it. We can't count on what we can't get. What we have is a bank of money, and then we are willing to start the repairs. But before we go sticking money into this building, we got to be guaranteed that we're going to buy it. And we've talked about, maybe putting a mortgage or something, or some kind of lien, or doing something. But John Deeds, my attorney, has a couple ideas, and I think Isaac has a couple ideas, and they seem to be working pretty well together. We sat down with the board and we said, guys, ladies, this is a very difficult sale. Most people are not going to be interested in this sale. It's a broken building. It needs repaired. And you need to get 180 people together, or 180 units. I don't know if there's 160 or 70. Some people own multiple units, but everybody's got to sign off on us. And that's why I'm here tonight. I would love to answer questions for somebody that doesn't want to sign off or has some, but I think we offer the swiftest, most economical, and the best way for you to re-enter this building. And then it's 7 minutes, 10 minutes from downtown. I mean, and there is a housing shortage in Cincinnati, but I don't think we're trying to get that apartment market. We don't want people moving in and out. We don't want, you know, the traffic that it'll bring. We want Hammond House to be a happy place to live and with people happy. And that seems to have gone away in the last, say, 5 years. I watch non-smoking issues. I watch hallway decorations go away. We need to return this to people that'll be happy to live here. And then one of the biggest things that I've come up with is I was disappointed to hear the HVAC had been purchased and is in the parking lot and has been installed, because I wanted to return it to individual units with 2 or 3 ton units because of COVID. COVID hurt this building bad. The central air system is shared and everything else, but now Ram Construction is involved with a company. It's a sister company called EMT. That company was given to the U.S. government, gave this project to 269 companies, and EMT survived, and they did Navy ships with it and some military. But there's units we put in now, and we do it on a daily basis. We're doing it for the Marriott hotels. We're doing it for Las Vegas. We got Bimbo bakeries. We got 37 factories from Bimbo bakeries this week. That this kills 99.9% of all bacteria, viruses, everything. So if we place one of these units, cigarette smoke makes it all go away. It's a type of ozone and hydrogen, and it's patented, and we're selling like it's on fire. But
Mike,
Hey,
if I could
Mike.
just interrupt
Hey,
you.
Mike, I have a really quick question. This is Tracy. I'm the
Yeah.
treasurer of the board. I think we've had a phone call once before.
Yeah.
So in your offer, the I understand the 12 million, but the additional 3 million, is that something that could still be into the actual purchase price? Because we do know there are many unit owners who are not coming back to the building. And since the owners will be out of the building the week of the 4th, then the fire safety preventions probably will be null and void at that point. So how could we roll that into the purchase price?
Well, what I was doing when we came up with this offer, we offered the 12 because it was appraised at 10, but then we offered 2.1 in HOA fees to lower the tensions in the place and make it a little bit more likable. But we're at 15 million right now today, and we have a little bit more room, but we don't care what you do with the money. What it would cost us is about $500,000 more, because we were going to take that money to start repairs. If you guys need 15 million, I will pledge 15 million. I also have a contract we're ready to send you tomorrow that I will change. It'll take a day or two, but we've scoured over this thing. But if our offer is 15 million, but we broke it down for a couple IRS reasons to try to save you money, save us money. But at the end of the day, 15 million is our number. And if that's what we need to present, we're all in at 15 million.
All right, thank you.
Carolyn?
Uh-huh. So it's been a while since Mike, first of all, let me say, Mike, I tried to get you in the building. I was on the board when we had the first fire on the 12th floor. I tried to get you in the building, and the board and town properties would not let me get you in the building. So I want to say I'm supportive of you, but I have some concerns about your offer. So one of my questions is, you're talking about giving us a $15 million offer. But then you're also talking about using the insurance money. And was the insurance money wrapped into like, so you pay us $15 million, and if we get any insurance or if we don't get any insurance, you get the insurance?
Well, that's a little gray area, to be honest with you, but I could, if we would get you more insurance money, you definitely would be entitled to it.
Well, okay, but here's the problem, and I think this is where your thing is, and Tracy kind of brought it up, is that many of us have been out for a long time. Many of us are done with this. We don't want to move back. There may be a handful of people who do. But with the offer from the other people, they're not going to touch the insurance money. So if we get a $15 million offer from them and we get $5 million from the insurance, then we have 20 million and not 15 million. So, you know, for your, I mean, I think it's great that you want to do this, but so many of us, Jim and I have been out for more than 2 years. It'll be 3 years in February, and we paid a lot of money for nothing, no use, nothing. And I think what people want to see is if those people want to move back in, come up with a better plan for them. Buy the building and then let them buy back in or something, because I want out. I'm done. I'm exhausted emotionally. I want to move on. And I think there are a lot of people who agree with me. And I think, you know, with the possibility of getting 14 or $15 million from another company, and we are going to get some insurance. We may not get 11 millions, but we'll get some. So that would greatly enhance our receipt of what we would get back from our units.
Okay, well, the first thing I'd like to address is your frustration with the building. I totally understand. I used to belong to a club. I saw go down. Reason I quit it is because I used to think of what it used to be and what it is now, and I kept getting mad when I go there, so I just quit going and I took my membership away. The biggest thing you're saying is that you just want money, you want out. So what we can do is change our offer to the 15 million. We're willing to do that and forgo the insurance proceeds, which in effect, one good thing about doing that would be that if somebody wants to stay, it would increase the amount of money that you would get, which would allow for more greater repairs or whatever. As far as the repairs, we would do an estimate for each individual unit and present it to the owner. I think some owners may not want to come back, but they might want to do the repairs and sell it. There's another option there, and that's what the option we were thinking of. So at the end of the day, you decide if you're so frustrated and you want to take the money and take off. I don't blame you. You know, I might do that myself. We have 3 condos, but I've decided I'm going to stick it out and I'm going to return the thing. I can't speak for my family's estate, but the 2 that I own, we're going to fix. And then one of them we may sell, one of them not. But the option is, I don't know the number of 15 million, but it was somewhere hanging around $70,000 a unit. I think if they're repaired, you get a lot more than 70,000. We've done market research in the area, and we have this information that those houses at the bottom of the hill that are the new development things.
Okay, Mike, but we went through this when we agreed to sell the building. I mean, they gave us estimates that it would cost us anywhere between, depending on your unit size, 150,000, and that was on top of all the insurance money. Many of us have burned through a lot of money. Many people are living on the edge. They don't have time to time or money to wait on this anymore. I mean, people are now still, even though the dues are reduced, people are paying the dues and for someplace else to live. And it's just not sustainable. So it's a great idea, but unless you're just going to buy the building and then come back around and say to people, you want to buy in, like you're building a house, that's great. But I just don't see this plan being a very good plan for the owners of this building.
Okay, well, then we would offer you 15 million for the building, and then you're done with it. I could see doing that. I don't have a problem with that. I was trying to help some of the people, but at the end of the day, 15 million is what we have budgeted for the purchase of the building. So I don't have a problem. We can change our offer, remove the HOA fees. If we buy the building and we do it very quickly, then I don't have a problem with that at all.
Okay, can we move on, Mike? Sally, you have a question?
Well, I was getting a little bit confused because you started to talk about what you could do for individual owners and estimate the work for their particular unit. But what's your relationship with the city? Have you applied? Are you going to get a permit? How are you going to deal with the permit issues? And the code violations that had nothing to do with the fire? How are you going to bring the whole building up to code?
That's what I have to do. I've talked to Art Dollenberg, and what we have to do is John's been kind enough to show us all the deficiencies of the building. I already knew it. I knew the breaches in the ceiling, the walls, the fire. One of the first things that was supposed to happen after the first fire, they were supposed to install closers. If they had, it would have prevented the second fire. But anyway, all the fire doors need to have closers. You have to close the shafts. You have to fireproof the building. You have to have a better alarm system. Those are all things that we have agreed to with the city of Cincinnati. The building will be brought to code. Electric needs to be updated, transformers. This is a big project. This isn't just.
Are you going to do a sprinkler system?
Pardon?
Are you
What
doing
was that?
a sprinkler system?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
We will continue with the sprinkler system. We talked to Art. We might be doing a hybrid system, which would be what they have chosen to install is the most expensive, not effective, cost effective system. There's things we can do, and would also involve not removing the ceilings. The ceilings don't need to be removed. You can cut holes in the ceilings and do the sprinkler, but the whole building, we will sprinkler, and it doesn't really have to be, but we think it's a good thing to do, and it's already there. It's already been paid for. We're going to continue on with the sprinkler system. We're going to get life safety systems up, and if you're there, you'll experience it. If not, then if people want to leave, we will be disappointed, but I understand, and that's why our offer is in the last hour just changed to 15 million. I haven't had a chance to talk to the owners to get their ideas, and I can understand now why you don't care about HOA fees. Just buy the building, take the money, and get the repairs done. That's what I've been trying to do. I've been trying to go to the city for probably a month and tell them that this is what we're going to do. So if we can get an agreement with you guys to sell the building for X 15 million, and we can get this sale, it will save everybody headaches. And if you partition, it could take years, and you're spending money that you don't need to spend. So my advice is let's hurry up and get this sale done, and we offer 15 million, and then get with the city and save the building. I think that's what I've been trying to say, and I appreciate you asking that.
Okay, Carolyn Fensel.
If we sell the building, then there are no more 150 owners, there's only one new owner. So all the people that thought they had individual rights to a specific unit are gone. You're talking about it as if you can buy a building from us, and then somehow some people are still owning units and attached to units. If the building is sold to somebody else, it no longer, I'm not attached to 1610 anymore. 1610 is attached to, belongs to Stacy. It doesn't belong to Fensel's. And so your whole premise of trying to hold on to it is not really selling the building. You're talking about coming in with a different scheme than selling the building and having it belong to you. You're talking about somehow trying to maintain a condo, and many people who have moved on and have no desire to return, don't have the ability or the desire.
If you don't have the desire or the ability to return, you take
The building is sold, it is gone.
Well, let me finish. If we buy the building and we take the money from the sale of the building and put it back into your condo, we will give you the opportunity to repurchase your condo for the amount of money that you have given us to do the repair. If the repair is less than the amount of money that you receive, we will do the repair for less, so you would receive money. If it's more, and the problem's going to come from if you have a mortgage. There's where the problem's going to come, because to do the repairs and pay the mortgage may not be enough money there. So there's going to be some people that have mortgages that unfortunately are going to be, they're going to have to pay their mortgage off. In our world, what we offer to do is to pay for the repairs for the proceeds, do an estimate, and then sell you the condo back for $1 or $10, but offer you ownership. So you still would be attached to 1610, but I can't just repair it and give it back to you.
Well,
What I can do is have you pay for the repairs through the sale proceeds and then get you back in. That is the heart of my offer. And if
okay.
you're frustrated and you just want to leave, I understand. Then yes, we're going to own your condo, and yes, we're going to fix it, and yes, we're going to market it.
I
But
think you're also asking to try to go in and fix the building before you've actually bought it. You're trying to start working on it before it's actually, the deal is done.
well, we got to work out a way to do that, but that's what we need to do. The building can't sit there for a year. Why?
People don't usually buy buildings and then start fixing them before the sale is complete. If something happens with the sale, you die tomorrow, or something else happens, then the work is started, we've lost our chance for a real sale. I don't have anything else to say.
We're gonna have to complete the sale before we begin work. But that's why this direct sale is so important.
Take the ceilings down.
Michelle?
Thank you. Thank you, Mike, and thank you to the brokers who have presented this information. Like many of the people on this call, like all the people on this call, we've all been struggling in the personal ways we've been struggling as a result of the awful fire that destroyed our community. The conversation about selling the building is moot right now, in my opinion. I think the best plan forward is to sell the building as quickly as possible. I think either of these plans has the potential to work and work quickly. The big problem is I don't think we're going to get 180 owners to come together on this. That's my big thing. So I want to just make an appeal to everybody who's listening. We have a choice. We can either work with some of these offers that can get us out of this mess within a year, or we can gamble everything and wait up to 2 years to go to our petition sale. And then we're at the mercy of, we have no leverage at that point. We're at the mercy of the sale, right? So as Carolyn said, many of us are struggling financially, paying condo fees, paying rents. Many of us are devastated by this. And the sooner we can move on, the better. So until we get 180 votes, I greatly appreciate the work this board is doing. I appreciate the presentations. But until we get all owners to agree that this is the course of action that we want to follow, I think we're going to be sitting in stagnant waters. So I urge everyone to think not just about yourself and what you're going to get out of this, but to think about your neighbors and to think about the community as a whole, not as individual units and how do I get the absolute most money for me? How do we work together to get out of this together with the most amount of funds so that we can all move on with our lives? So I appreciate the opportunity to say that. Thank you.
I couldn't agree more, and I think that's the reason we're having this meeting. If it takes 2 years to partition the building, the building will go down daily in value. If you don't have air conditioning, people moving around, the building will go down in value. It'll be worth less for sure in 2 years. What we offer is to buy it quickly. We're not talking a year. We're talking about 90 days to arrange the financing and closing thereafter. But our offer is to buy the building now, to be clear, for $15 million. And secondly, for those of you that want to return, we can work on returning. Those of you that don't blame you. But at the end of the day, we can put it in writing very quickly. $15 million offer, and I wish you'd consider that. I think it would be best for all. and the direct sale is by far the most cost effective. The brokers that were involved, I appreciate their comments, especially the 60%. You only get 60% on the dollar, and that's the case. I've been through this before. I've seen fire damages, and I've bought a house or two because of that. Your quickest, best way out for everybody is a direct sale.
I know Sally has, thank you, Mike. Sally has her hands up, but I'm wondering if there's anybody else who has not asked a question, who would like to ask a question of Mike. If not, well, let's unmute Sally, and I think we'll call this the last question and see if both Jordan and Michael want to have some final comments. Sally? Randy, can you help me unmute Sally?
There she
Okay,
goes.
thank you. Sorry. I still don't know that I have an answer or completely understand how the two outstanding lawsuits play into this. And I would like to know more about what the consequences of, I know that one of them is of going forward to an appeal to a jury trial with damages. Can we get some more information about how these lawsuits impact the sale of the building? Does it impact?
This call was, with all respect, Sally, this call was not meant to go into those questions. It's complex. And in general, the legal ins and outs are things that we don't do in public meetings. All I can say is that the board in general, we feel we have to resolve these lawsuits before the building is sold. It doesn't make sense to have them out there with the building sold. It doesn't, I don't know how that works. Exactly how they'll be resolved, I'm not sure, but we would like to do that.
Well, I guess I'm hoping that we have an answer pretty soon. This has been going on for some time.
I can respond.
I really don't understand.
Yeah, well,
If
Mike, I mean,
if Mike Stacy is talking about all of this being his offer and doing everything in a year, we don't even have court dates for one of them, and the other court date is December. And I don't have any idea of, as an owner, what is the impact of that going to be on me personally, financially?
Right. As far as the lawsuit,
You don't have to give me the answer today, but I expect an answer.
Right,
Isaac is on.
right. As far as the lawsuits go, those lawsuits are not going to prevent the sale of the building. There's no lawsuit that I'm aware of at this time that is trying to prevent you guys all from agreeing to sell the building. That's a different issue. That's a lawsuit against the association and the people that are joined there. It does mean that the monies that the association have are going to be tied up.
So Randy, sorry, Jordan, if you're still on, do you want any final remarks? I don't see Jordan on the call, so I don't think so. Mike, any last comments you'd like to make?
Well, unfortunately, the lawsuits and our offer that we offer would need to be either dealt with or not. But Isaac has got a good point. I think that he can deal with it externally, but I'll let him handle that. But I can tell you the offer that we present needs to have clear title. And if we can achieve that, that's what we need to do. And that's what we're talking about. So how you achieve clear title, that'll be Isaac's problem and the owner's problem. But it has to happen to be sold. I believe, isn't that the case, Isaac?
Right. So I think the issue that we had with the last offer that you guys made was that you wanted to do the due diligence after we got everybody to consent to the sale, which would mean that you could get out of the agreement after 180 units agreed to do the deal. So we would look to you guys to do your own due diligence to determine that you feel you're comfortable getting marketable title. We don't expect you to buy the property with encumbrances like mortgages and things like that. Those would all have to be dealt with as part of your deal. My understanding is that the people Jordan's talking about understand that, and they're going to help negotiate mortgages for people that may be underwater as part of what they're doing, part of the hair that they're looking at. But we're looking for, in the association has the right to take whatever deal they want, and the board can't bind any individual owner to any deal. But at the end of the day, I think what the board has expressed to me is they would like to see a clean deal where everybody knows what the deal points are, what's going to happen, and not have a bunch of unknowns out there the day after the sale.
I understand that's a problem and we've dealt with it. And what we have decided is that we'll do our due diligence now. And basically all I want to do is just check the building, check the engineering that are on the blueprints, make sure this HVAC works and some things like that. But I understand what happens if you won't get the signatures again. So we've talked at length about it and we are prepared to deal with that problem. So our offer will come to your agreement that you're looking for. I can assure you that. So this is our offer, is to clear that problem up, offer clear title and $15 million. But you haven't received our offer. And you talked to John Deeds, you know what his concerns are. And we straightened that out with John this morning, but he didn't have time to do this today. And I tried to send it to John today, and I called John at Hammond. I called John Deeds, and he said that he would like a little bit more time to prepare it and talk to you. But we are going after your problem, and we will get that problem. What it amounts to is we could lose the earnest money, and our investment group doesn't like that. So we've decided to waive that now. So that's really the problem, isn't it, Isaac?
Yeah, there was a couple deal points to talk to your attorney about, but I can go into it with him.
Yeah, please do. But I can assure you, within 2 days or so of a conversation, I've told him we just need to work this out. And I have today I got the permission from the financing group to do that. And we had a conversation from 8 to 9:30, but yes, you need to get with John Deeds and we will change our offer and present it to you very quickly. Okay?
Understood.
John, Jordan is back on here.
Yeah, yes, I know. So Jordan, you're
Yeah.
unmuted now?
Yeah, sorry, we got muted in the process. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Yep. So we stand ready to, counter, bring the offer back from venture, no strings attached, quick close, no equity group involved, all private money coming in the deal. So, we're here at your disposal to be used as you'd like to use us. Again, we're here to support all of you owners on the call. We've been working directly with the board, but we're here to help support all of you owners on the call to help maximize the value for you in a tragic situation that you've been thrown into. So I will get with the board after this. We will tighten up offer from venture. We will get them to submit a PSA, and then we stand ready to do whatever else we need to do in the process. But just so we're clear, when we bring an offer to the table, there are no strings attached. There's going to be a 75 to 90-day close, no insurance money, no moving back in. It's going to be a clear, clean offer to move people on with their lives and on from a tragic situation.
Well, thank you both very much. Kate, if you could send us a question in email, I'd rather end the meeting now, but I appreciate your thoughts. And we're going to have a motion to adjourn. We're going to go into executive session. Randy?
John, there are a few chat questions or comments I was going to read, but do you want me, is that?
Well, I think we had the final comments. I think that people, as I've said earlier, in many venues, people should send us emails. We've been responding to individual owners, and we'll have other meetings. There'll be public answering of other questions. So I think it's better that we terminate the meeting now if possible.
Okay.
All right, can I have a motion to adjourn?
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome, Mike, and thank you, Jordan. Chris,
Thank you.
motion to adjourn. All those in favor to adjourn? Okay, thank you very much, Hammond North.